We went back to Valletta, and we saw the St. John's Cathedral. Now, this was built by the Knights of St. John's in 1773 to 70. And I'm going to say, it is the most impressive cathedral I have ever seen. And I have seen cathedrals all over the world. It had 10 side altars and carvings and gold everywhere. There was not a spot empty any place, on the ceilings, on the walls, on the columns, on the pillars, behind the altars, all over. And there were 6 giant candle holders of silver, I think maybe 4 foot high. But the candles were 5 feet high. Now, how in the world did they ever make candles that long? You know, they stand there with a little wick, you know, dipping them up and down in the paraffin or whatever, wax, whatever it is. How high? You'd have to get a giant step ladder. That would be interesting to see, all these interesting things. So anyway, the floor there was completely covered with slabs over the dead knights. And the slabs were all colors of marble, just beautiful. And they all had pictures, and they all had stories of the life that the knight had lived. But there were so many that had skulls and whole skeletons, skulls and whole skeletons made into the marble. They weren't just laying on top. And the skulls were grinning. Now, why would you put a skeleton on your slab? Everyone knows you are dead, or you wouldn't have a slab over you. Oh, God, it was fascinating. You could spend hours just looking at the floor. And listen, no women are buried here. Well, there's definitely no equal rights here. Of course, they couldn't be. The knights were not married or fooling around. Valletta is 16 centuries old. Wow. And is on the Grand Harbor, and there are 3 fortified towns on the Grand Harbor. Vittoriosa, Caspicua, and Singles. And Malta means the land of honey. I saw no bees, and I didn't get a good explanation. Back to the cathedral. We saw a giant, oh gosh, it was a giant of a picture behind the altar. The beheading of John the Baptizer. The baptizer. This was by Caravaggio's, and it was a masterpiece. It is so dark. Over 3/4 of it are dark. And then the highlights showed the 3 people. It was beautiful. Now, I should have measured. You know, I looked at it from afar, a little bit closer. I didn't get close enough. We saw the armor and the weapons of the Knights of St. John's in the cathedral. How strange. And then we did some shopping there, and one old man in the shop got Sandy talking, and he said, "No more big crowds of tourists. No more ships come in." And he saw our Grand Circle tags. He says, "Some stores had to close down. My good friends had to close down. No business." So Sandy explained how American people were scared of the terrorists and scared to fly. So you see, even now, 6 months later, foreign countries feel the sadness of no tourists to buy their goods. And I know they had to cancel a lot of Grand Circles. No customers. We ate in Valletta. We get 5 coupons from our tour to eat out. Isn't that nice? So we don't get bored with the food of the Perluna Hotel. That was really nice that we could do that. We ate at Cocopazzo, and the risotto was wonderful. It had ham and spinach and cheese in it and spices. And we had wine. And then for dessert, Dormisa, that wonderful layered Italian dessert. Now before that, oh gosh, Before that, Sandy and I had cappuccino and canolas. We had to sit for 30 minutes and rest our feet. So you don't sit unless you buy. You have to buy. And also, you don't go to the toilet unless you buy either. So we forced ourselves. Then after I come home 5 pounds. I got on the scale in the doctor's office today. 132 pounds. Oh my God, I lost 127. What happened?